I'm at the GCC Financial Forum in Bahrain, and I'm delighted to be joined by one of our speakers, Hadyah Fatalla, who's Executive Director of C5 Accelerate. Hadyah, thank you very much for joining us. Bahrain has been very active in the fintech sector. How can innovation and accelerators cater for the growing industry here in the Middle East?
I think in the past year or so, we've seen government take some very interesting pragmatic steps in innovation in general, but more so when it comes to fintech. You've seen the CBB launch a fintech sandbox, the Economic Development Board, a fintech hub. So we established a year and a half ago an accelerator here in Bahrain called Cloud 10, and it's really in partnership with the Economic Development Board in Tamkeen, but also with AWS, Amazon's cloud computing arm. And the whole point is to help companies scale using cloud computing. We're currently now running a fintech intake. So I think back to your question, how can accelerators really help? Accelerators have a very, very important role to be able to bring startups and create the right holding environment for them to be able to benefit from all these different sort of developments that are happening. So our program right now is focused on fintech, and it's specifically intended to align with the government direction, but also more broadly with the region and what's happening globally in fintech.
Fantastic. How do you think Bahrain could leverage existing fintech developments globally and create the right ecosystem for startups?
I think Bahrain, we're lucky here in Bahrain first to have a government that is very forward thinking. So oftentimes you see the private sector lead and then the government follows suit.
Yeah.
In Bahrain you kind of see the government lead and one can hope that the private sector will also follow suit. I think Bahrain has all the right elements to be able to create an ecosystem, an entrepreneurial ecosystem and a startup ecosystem, but also one that's focused on fintech. So really it has, taken sort of some of the earliest steps when it comes to adopting cloud, and it can do the same for fintech. I mean, just from a regulatory perspective, allowing banks to explore moving to the cloud, that's one very forward-leaning aspect. So I think Bahrain, because it's small and nimble and fast-moving, especially on regulation, really can create, like I said, whether it's by supporting hubs and accelerators or by creating the right regulatory environment, has become and can continue to become very attractive, not just for fintechs from the region, but internationally. We, in fact, in our program we have 6 companies. 4 of them are international.
Okay, so not just Bahrainis.
No, they're not just Bahrainis. We've got Asian companies, we've got regional companies, we've got European companies. So Bahrain can really establish itself as a fintech leader for the region.
Fantastic. Over the last few years, there have been significant changes in the technology sector here in Bahrain. How has this advancement and evolution impacted entrepreneurs wishing to tap into the sector?
That's around the time when we started our accelerator here in Bahrain, was towards the end of 2016. And just in the past year and a half, you really see a transformative change, both on the island in terms of, like you said, what's happening in technology, but also in mindsets. And I think with everything that's happening, and it's happening nicely in parallel, cloud, fintech, even around cyber, and even in some different sectors, I think you've seen the emergence of quite a healthy, like I said, startup and entrepreneurial ecosystem. You've seen even academia jump on board. You see the private sector a little more engaged and excited. So I think all of that makes it much easier for startups who have an appetite to create in the tech space to now find the right support. Last year, the government launched a tech week, and they're doing the same again this year. Even the things around, tech week, for example, startup competitions, startup conferences, panels, all of that makes the ecosystem more vibrant, and as a result makes it more pragmatic and practical for young startups to be able to find the right support.
So Bahrain is the right place to come and do a startup?
I mean, I'm Bahraini, so I come with a natural bias, but I really do think that, the government has a plan to make Bahrain an ICT leader in the region, and I think we have the right components, and I think we're taking the right steps. So I'm confident that I think this can be a launch pad for startups, and we'd love to see more international startups come into Bahrain and come into our program.
Hadyah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.